I mean, and sometimes we are mistreated.
Yeah.
You know, we are loaded into buses like school kids. You know, and it's not right.
Well, you are summoned. You know,
it's not right. So the decision that we have made as AU is that going forward, if there is going to be a discussion between Africa and any other country, we are going to be represented by the chair, the outgoing chair, the bureau.
Chair of the commission
and,
or the chair
and the chair of the Rex, and we have 5 Rex. That should be sufficient for, I mean, a meeting of maybe 6, 7. Yeah. That should be able to represent Africa. And that is the position I am taking as the president of Kenya. For any other meeting that we are going to have with all these requests, that we have a meeting between Africa and one other country, we respect the sovereignty of others. I think to ask for reciprocation is not to ask for too much.
No.
And for us to agree that let us have this kind of setup. The only, because I had a conversation with President Kagame, and he actually led that particular position. I have had a conversation with Prime Minister Abiy. He believes very strongly that that should be the position of our continent. Because, as you have said, if we don't respect ourselves, nobody is going to respect us. And we should be able to take that kind of decision. Yeah. And part of that respecting ourselves is when we say African problems, African solutions. We must be serious about the solutions. It cannot be rhetoric. It cannot be talk. It must be accompanied by what realistically and practically we are doing.
And with our capacity, yeah. No, this is wonderful, but just one question. Why are you having this discussion in closed rooms? Why don't you bring civil society, all those people in this discussion? Because we can also put pressure on our leaders or whatever to behave in a better way. African people need to tell their presidents, we care about Africa. That should be a priority. Unless we act really together, it doesn't work. And in the reform agenda of the African Union, if you and your colleagues are proceeding that way, there need to be really a serious discussion about the structures and how Africa is. One problem is African countries refuse to cede any sovereignty to the African Union. So African Union cannot sign a trade agreement in behalf of Africa. Then the African Union go and meet the European Union. This is not balanced.
It is not.
Because those guys had
27 countries,
gave them sovereignty.
Yes.
But our guys here don't want to give any sovereignty, cede any sovereignty to the Union, as if, you know, this is something very fantastic they have to keep. When countries like Germany, like big countries, agreed to cede sovereignty to the collective body because they are smart, they think when they are together, they negotiate better deals.
Are you saying?
The only stupid guys, unfortunately, are the British, who left that collection. But look, I'm free to say that because I'm also a British citizen, and so I have my views about what happened in Britain. I know we have British. The Jane is there, the High Commissioner, and the Archbishop. And I have the minister here also. But do you agree with me it was a mistake to leave the European Union? You agree? You're going to lose your job, I think. Anyway, BBC is not here, don't worry. Nobody watch Kenya TV, so don't worry. Anyway, so no, it's not a joke. I mean, it is truth. I mean, it is a mistake. Together, we're stronger. We do things better. And that's what we need the African people to press their governments. We need to be stronger. We need to have our union. We need to cede some of our sovereignty for the African Union. I'm not losing sovereignty because our collective sovereignty is huge. is huge. Then we are somebody which can be respected around the world. We go out there in Europe, oh, we Africans, we African. I want to ask you, seriously, what do you mean you are Africans? You are South African, you're Nigerian, what do you mean you are Africans? Where is your government? What decisions you are able to make? What is Africa? Unless we have an African Union and a joint, a will, and then it doesn't work. So you made commitments now in front of all these people who are going to fight for that case. Is that correct?
You have my commitment, and not just me, by the way. I think a critical mass of African readers is building on how we should act together. I told you, this particular position of consolidating what we need to do and how we need to engage with the rest of the world was actually driven by President Kagame.
Excellent.
We've talked with many other heads of state, and I think there is a critical mass emerging that we need to act differently. We need to work smart. Let me tell you of an unfortunate situation. I visited one of the countries, I don't want to say which one, and we were having a conversation about the economic partnership agreement between EAC and the EU.
Yeah.
The EU, 27 countries, 520 million people have agreed on what we need to do. EAC, we have sizable, 170 million people. Then one country, and I don't want to say which one, refused to sign. So he said, no, we need to teach these people some lesson. So I'm listening. Your country has 11 million people. What are you going
now
to
we
teach?
know the country. Anyway.
So what are you going to teach 520 million people who are supposed to serve as your market? Really? So sometimes we undermine our own case because of not acting properly. So I want to promise you that it is our challenge. The realization alone that we have a problem is halfway the solution from where I sit. So we know that we have to change stuff. We know that we have to act in a manner that makes sure that we secure our interests, because the whole discussion, the whole discourse is about interests. What is our interest? How do we protect our interests? Because everybody protects theirs.
Yeah.
So this is awakening, and I think the engagement of Africa with the rest of the globe is going to change. That is why, for example, we are having the Climate Action Summit, because we want to go to the UN. We want to come to the UN General Assembly. We want to go to COP28 with an African consolidated position, speaking with one voice, the whole lot of us, so that people can know we know what we want, and we will not back down.
This is wonderful. If any value to this discussion is, I think we reached some interesting commitment from the president here. No, it's useful, the commitment made by the president. My only suggestion is that mobilize the people, have trust in the people, because the pressure from the people can help produce. Get the civil society into your summit. Get them to press their governments to really to move behind you in this agenda, because that has to happen. And until you get the people behind you, everybody will drag their feet. And that's the history of Africa.
I agree with you 100% that we need to mobilize the people to be with us, to share the vision with us, to agree with us on the paradigm shift in what we need to do. I agree with you, the civil society have a big role to play, because they can do sometimes what governments cannot do. And even in Kenya, we have a robust civil society. They have made a huge contribution to who we are today. Sometimes as governments we agree with them, sometimes we don't agree with them, but that is the nature of life. All I ask of our good friends in the civil society space, including you, Mo, is always to look out for the interests of the people of our continent, and not sometimes to play to the gallery of the people who pay your check.
What are applauding for? What you guys are applauding for? We're going to have a discussion here about civil society. We had a session actually with non-state actors here. We had the president of of the biggest foundation in the world. We're all in this case. And I'm going to send you the video of that.
Okay.
What civil society, what foundations are doing for Africa, it's a wonderful job. And that brings me to the issue of civil society, about who pays your check. To start with, in our foundation.
No, by the way,
no, you know,
I'm not talking about more.
No, but to make it clear, I don't know if everybody. We don't accept donation from anybody, government, business, anybody. Our money is the money we made in Africa from our investment in Africa, which was clean investment, and we gave this money as an African money to the foundation to do this. We refuse, by our constitution, we don't accept a penny from anybody because we work in the area of governance. So we don't have an effect, right? This brings me to the issue of other foundation which doesn't have a donor who have a lot of money to give them, which is fine, many foundations like that. Really, what bothers me is that if a foundation, not every country, but many African countries, if a foundation receives funding from external source, it is no. Some countries ask them to be registered as foreign agents. But the government of the same country go and beg for the same money from the same donor. So how civil society is agent and a foreign agent, and the president is not a foreign agent? Let's be consistent. You know, why the government accept donation, but the people cannot, civil society cannot have donation? What we need, of course, we need is a charter for the foundations, and we're working on, we need to have a charter for African foundations on our own governance, because we cannot just keep screaming about the governance and the government when we are not observing governance in our own foundations. We have to do, I accept that, and that should be the way to work. And I think we need to find Kenya. They have
let me speak for Kenya.
You guys are
let me
fighting this based on civil society, frankly.
Let me speak for Kenya.
Yeah.
The same way you have made a disclosure about more foundation.
Yeah.
Let me also make a disclosure about Kenya.
Please.
We don't require the civil society to make any disclosures to government on who they get money from, how they use it. It is their business. All I said is we just the same thing, governance. You demand of us governance, rightfully, legitimately, and that's the right thing to do. The same should be demanded of civil society, the way you have said.
Agree, but Mr. President, I think, I'm sorry about my ignorance. I hope you have a charity commission here, because charity needs to state an annual financial return, exactly how much money they received, from where it went, how much paid their directors, how much paid their... That is a requirement worldwide, everywhere. In America, in Britain, everywhere required. You need to implement that too.
We have an NGO coordination council that takes care of all.
You need to do that, because that removes the fog and suspicion.
Yes.
Here we are clean, we're doing the right job. I think that's good for both sides. But I heard complaints that there is some tightening of the space over the, for civil society for a few
In
years.
Kenya?
Yes. Is that true or not true?
It is very untrue.
Really?
And I think the civil society must be somewhere in this room. If there is any
Anybody in civil society want to challenge the statement? Listen, we'll guarantee your safety. Don't worry. Yeah. I heard you had some rogue police unit here, which carry some execution stuff. But
I disbanded on day one.
So guys, don't be afraid. Stand up and speak. No, nobody's speaking. Anyway, fair enough.
You don't need any further evidence.
No, that's fine. It's good, but I have to raise the question because somebody, we need to have a proper conversation.
It's good.
One thing worries me about is the. Don't upset. Yeah, I don't want to upset you, or so please allow me. You Kenyans are hot-headed. I mean, what is going on in the streets here? I mean, why don't you cool things down? What's going on? Convoys here and tear gas and this. What is, why don't you, you can see, I call you hot-headed. I call our people in Sudan stupid and criminals because we went too far. You look at our example and, cool it down. I mean, why aren't you talking to each other?
More. You see, we have a constitution that provides for how we conduct ourselves. We have institutions that make sure that everybody lives by the rules and operates within the parameters of the law. We had an election, and it was observed by the international community. It was accepted. In fact, my predecessor said, I think a day ago, that he handed over to the gentleman who won. Yet his candidate, the candidate he was supporting, is in the streets complaining that the election, he doesn't know how the elections went. So if the chairman of Azimio, the former president, has told the country that he handed over to the gentleman who won, yet his candidate has a problem with who won the election, I think they need to have a small conversation between the chairman and his candidate to tell him, gentlemen, I handed over to the gentleman who won, let us stop the demonstration. But that's not happening. But that's not the case. I did take the step, as president, to deal with the situation because they raised 4 issues. Issue number 1, the high price of food commodities. You know as much as I do that that's not a Kenyan problem. But I said, okay, let's have a conversation. They raised number 2, that that they're not satisfied with the outcome of the election. We all went to elections. The international observers were there. It was validated by the institutions of government, the institutions of the Constitution. The Supreme Court validated. 5 months after the election, they said, there is a whistleblower who has now said he has given different results. In which country more is elections determined by whistleblowers? I don't think there is any such country. But I took the step to say, okay, let us create a framework. I reached out to the opposition and said, let's have a framework where we can have a conversation about the issues you are raising, right? And I extended an olive branch. I went on national television. I offered, said, let's have this conversation. They accepted that let's have this conversation. And before the conversation could start, they said, no, we don't think you're sincere.
We don't like one of your members.
They didn't like,
I saw the paper.
If you are having a conversation and you need everybody on the table, you cannot say, I don't like so-and-so. It is the reason why we are having a conversation, because we don't like one another, So it cannot be the argument that I don't like so-and-so. So the very reason why we are having the conversation is because we don't like one another. Let us always have the conversation. But anyway, be that as it may, let us see how else. You know, if you have make a different suggestion. We've even offered them. We've told them, okay, if you don't like so-and-so, it's fine. Can we start the conversation, and then we will exit this person you don't like? They say, no. We told them, but the prices of food commodities have come down. They say, even if you bring it down as far as possible, we still want to go to the demonstration.
I don't know. Maybe we need a hug first, you know.
What?
Really, because my brother.
Since these are your friends, why don't you reach out to them and have a conversation?
You are all my friends.
yes, we are.
You are my friend, and Uhuru's my friend, and Raila's my friend.
Correct.
We're all brothers.
Correct.
Okay? I already reached to our brother Raila, and I'm inviting him to come and have lunch. I said I'm going to buy him a great lunch.
Please.
To come. I don't think I don't know where is he. I haven't got confirmation yet. Because I would like to meet him. Uhuru, my other brother, unfortunately, he's changed his mobile number. I cannot reach him. So if he hear us here, Uhuru, give me a call. Yeah. No, because we need just to talk
I will
as
look
brothers.
for his new number and give you.
You have his number?
I will get
you
it.
are friends then. Yeah. No, because to be honest, and please forgive me, I'm not a Kenyan, but maybe it's much easier for me to say this because I'm not party to what's going on here. Please, guys, you have kids need education, you have people need food, you have jobs, you have a lot of issues important here. All this is hot air and squabbling or personal. Let us work for Kenyan people.
Absolutely.
So just fairness, I'm not party to any of this, you know, but we need to find a way to really hug and talk. That is, I saw the Archbishop of Canterbury is here. Is he sitting here? You have a job here to do. I mean,
and he's
the
our
Archbishop, that's your job. You need to go and get people, hug them, and, you know, do a prayer or something. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Is that a reasonable request? I don't understand, but I thought Christians also sort Christian people. This is your flock, isn't it? Anyway. Well, I see you are running
and
out of time.
Actually,
yeah.
One of my competitors is actually an Anglican. So I think the Bishop of Canterbury can do a very good job there.
When you come for lunch with us, join us for lunch. Maybe you can, you know, start a conversation.
And you can start with a prayer.
Anyway, we try. I mean, when we couldn't do it, then we hope God can do it for us, you know, but he's reluctant, you know, so what you do. I don't want to take too much of your time, but before I go, just another personal question. I hope you don't mind.
It's okay. More.
My daughter the other day, you know, she told me, do you mind if I call myself first daughter? And I said, what is first daughter? She said, oh, you're going to meet President Ruto. I said, yes. She will ask him, what's the first daughter? What is this first daughter thing? Do you have a first daughter?
I think, Mo, you are harassing me.
I'm not harassing you. This is not fair. I'm asking a simple, innocent question. I know.
I agree. Maybe on this particular one.
But Mr. President, it is a
Kenyan joke.
Yeah.
Because my innocent daughter Charlene put on her Twitter account. And I asked her, why have you put this password? She says there are, I think, what are those accounts that are duplicate? Parrot or something?
I don't know. I'm not very, yeah.
There are so many accounts in her name, which she has nothing to do with.
I see. Fake account, yeah, okay.
Fake accounts. So I told her, but you know, this will be misinterpreted to mean something else. But she says, that's how I have chosen to do it. And I think let us just leave that to be.
So, okay. But are you telling me that you have no intention of creating a third dynasty here?
I think I think the people of Kenya have moved on. And my position is that if you look at the way I look at how we should move, inclusive growth, inclusive development, if you look at my political philosophy, I do not believe that everything should rotate around the president, even if that is William Ruto. Members of my family are not participating in any politics. And I'm not saying that they should not, if they want to, but they should. But I have made the conscious decision that it is enough that the people of Kenya have given me the honor to be president. It is not in my place to use it to promote my family. It is in my place to use it to promote the children of other people so that they get the same opportunity like the one I have gotten. And that is why I have a very big argument with some of my competitors who use the office they get whenever there is a nomination. They nominate their daughters, nominate their cousins, they nominate. I don't think that's the best way to use opportunity. I think opportunity should be spread. If you have gotten an opportunity, reach out to somebody else to give them a lift, to give them a hand up, so that they too can become something. It shouldn't be just around your family.
This is a wonderful statement, and it is recorded.
Yes, it is.
8 years from now, we're going to play it back.
Very good.
Because many African presidents say good things at the beginning of their time and then change later on, but we believe you're going to stand. I don't know if I should say this or not, but one African president, who probably a friend of yours, 40 years ago, wrote a book and said the problem with this country is every president who wants to come here doesn't want to leave. He has not left for 40 years now. I tried to send him a copy of his book with his ambassador. He said, no, don't give it to me. He said, oh, he's going to fire you if you hand this over. But anyway, but we have this statement here in front of everybody. There is no new dynasty. There is no junior, Ruto Jr. or first daughter, stuff. I don't mind. I have to ask this question.
No,
if I don't ask
more.
Yeah.
Please, you're free to ask me any question.
But I'm not harassing you because I'm harassing you. I'm not.
With a light touch. And I'm going to revenge.
Oh. That is serious. Really, you have been a wonderful, really guest in our discussion, and we thank you very much, Mr. President. Please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You have been wonderful.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think people love that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, another hearty, warm clap for Sir Mo Ibrahim and His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Thank you very much. and at the appropriate or penultimate time, we shall remain standing as we allow them to exit at their own pleasure. We've come to the end of this session. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful evening.